Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be looking at a verse here in Matthew today. This will be Matthew chapter 6, verse 14. Now I've seen this in a movie. I cannot remember what the movie was called, but I'm sure you'll know what I mean. Or maybe I've seen this movie before. I'll explain it to you after I read this verse. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. This movie I saw was where this guy, he was a soldier. It's a true story. He was a soldier, and he ended up getting captured by the Japanese, along with many, and they tortured him and all that, did some horrible stuff to them. And he ended up coming back home, and he was just, because of it, out there because he was out there on the water, I believe, in a boat. And when he got captured, he gave his life to God then. But through all that mess, he kind of lost his mind a little bit, and he was like drinking a whole bunch when he came home to his wife and stuff, and it was just horrible. And eventually, Billy Graham had come to their town and things like that, and he started preaching. And his wife got him to go, and Billy Graham was able to get him to, commit his life back to God. And, eventually, I believe the American soldiers ended up capturing a whole bunch of the Japanese. And the guy who was who was in charge of the torture that they were going through, had not been captured yet. But it's still, all the men that were there were part of that group that were torturing him and his fellow Americans and stuff. And he read this verse to them, and then he gave them the book to give to the main guy. I believe his name was like Bird or something like that, to give to the main Japanese leader when he came in there, and he even shook one of their hands and told him he forgive them. So this verse, forgive men of their trespasses as your heavenly Father forgive in you. Out of all what these guys did to this dude, they tortured him, they fed him slop, they made him work. I mean, it was just horrible, the things that they were doing to them, beating them and everything. And then they were even getting ready to kill him in the end, before the Americans came. And no matter what, all the horrible stuff that they did to them, they forgave. He still forgave all of them. And Jesus is a perfect example of this. He said on the cross, forgive them, for they know not what they do. These men that are beating him, that put the crown of thorns on his head, that are spitting on him, that nailed him to the cross, hung him up and left him up there until he died. He asked God, he said, forgive them, Lord. Forgive them, God. They know not what they do. Stephen, as we read not that long ago, Stephen was out there preaching for God, and he was out there preaching for God, and eventually that's when Paul came, or Saul at the time was his name, and he ended up convincing all the people to stone Stephen to death, and he stoned Stephen to death, and he even asked Jesus, he said, forgive them, forgive them, Lord, before he was killed. The truth of it is you can't be, God could not forgive you if you cannot forgive someone, because we are just as horrible as in people. We are sinful. We do evil things. We think, we have evil thoughts and all that. And a lot of people are against God. They mocked him and everything before actually coming to him. And he forgives us for everything we do. That's even in the salvation sin. Like, God, wash me clean. Forgive me for what I have done. And Jesus had forgiven them. And, forgiven them for all, that they do. All of us have done. And, that is how we get saved through Christ. So in doing so, before, before you get saved, Forgive everybody that has everything to do, that has ever done to them. If you cannot meet that person, face to face and be like, I forgive you for, such and such, you can even ask Jesus and tell him and just forgive them with your heart, and truly mean it. Forgive them for, what they have done to you. Don't hold grudges against anybody. Our world is corrupt. The devil is in everybody's head. And, he gets people to do things, just as the demons do. And so, we just, oftentimes when you do forgive somebody, they begin to come around. And, they know what they've done to you. And it could be something very horrible. And, they're like, what has taken this man to forgive me for something, and it could even draw them to Christ, So, again, forgive everybody. Forgive other men of their trespasses as God has forgiven us of our trespasses. I thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you learned something. I can't remember what that movie's called, but I'm sure you could search it up. It's a great movie. There's 2 of them, I believe. And I just want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next week. As always, take it easy and have a great week.